Hello, everyone. Welcome to Jamaica 411. Thank you so much for stopping by. I'm your host, Michelle Stern. I'm going to cut the introduction very short because, boy, I have some news for you. I'm telling you, Dayton Campbell was in Peter Bunting's South Manchester, where he's trying to wrestle that constituency from the JLP. And can you imagine? Dayton Campbell was a guest speaker. Peter Bunting invited guests, and Dayton Campbell was a guest speaker, and he delivered of himself a speech that is perhaps, in my view, I'm no doctor, but in my view, sounds very telling as to his mental state. I want you to listen and tell me what you think. And I'm going to butt in as usual and make a few comments. But before we do so, I would like you to please give the video a thumbs up from now on. Please give the video a thumbs up and share as far and as wide as you can. If you have not yet done so, please go ahead and subscribe and feel free to leave your comments in the comments section. And my subscribers, may not forget you. You know that me always want to hear from you. Yes, man, because sometimes they make me laugh. So please go ahead, leave your comments in the comments section as usual. All right? Great. Now, let's listen to what let me be polite. Madman in a clean clothes.
I want to move to housing. You see, when we as politicians are on the road walking, and it happens to every single one of us on this platform, we're walking and somebody says, you must go look for the comrade over there, sir. Them a comrade from Michael Manley days. Them a stalwart in the community. You have to go look for them. And we say, all right, and we go over there. And normally when you go over there, you see a frail comrade who has been through the battle. And them there, you know, look a rocking chair or them lie down on the bed. And you go in there and you say, comrade, how you do? And introduce yourself. And you thank them for them service to the party. And then you take fast and you cock your hand by your kimbo and you go look up. And when you look up, God Almighty, straight in the sky you look. Because of the condition under which they are living. These are persons who have served the party with distinction and them don't live nowhere. And it is part of the reason make them pitney and grand pitney stop vote. Because they say, look how mama and papa run back of politics and look which part them live. Time come now for us to provide proper housing solution to the people of this country.
Hold off. How does the providing of house to the people of the country come into this that you are describing now, Master? Weren't you talking about the comrades them? That living in very poor conditions, that them children and grandchildren are saying that they're not voting anymore because their mama and papa run after politics and then get out of it. So when you come in to talk about that example of the comrade, right, living in a very bad condition, and then you move on immediately to talk about it's time that we provide housing solutions for the people of the country. You really mean the comrade them that living in the condition that you are talking about? What is the connection? Why did you mention the comrades in that argument? You know, see, you're fool. You know, so you're saying to people that you're going to use government money and housing trust money to provide housing for long-time stalwarts who fallen on hard times. What was the purpose of you talking about the comrades who served the party for how many years, falling on hard times, and you talking about now it's time that we provide housing solutions for the people of Jamaica. That is not how people are going to look at what you're saying. They're going to look at what you're saying, that you intend to use the housing trust money to make a way for PNP people. How dumb can you be? Let us listen to what he said again and ask ourselves, what is the point that he was making?
And when you look up, God Almighty, straight in the sky you look, because of the condition under which they are living. These are persons who have served the party with distinction and them don't live nowhere. And it is part of the reason make them picnic and grand picnic stop vote, because they say, look how mama and papa run back of politics and look which part them live. Time come now for us to provide proper housing solution to the people of this country. And so there are several things that we are going to do. One, we're taking back the money that was leaving the National Housing Trust to go into the budget. It is going to stay with the National Housing Trust.
Well, everyone, now is the time for us to take out our pens and our pencils and paper, and we're going to grab a calculator and we're going to do some calculations, because here now we're going to be hearing some things and they're going to cost some money, and we are going to check to see if these things are feasible, achievable, and in the process make sense. So everybody, please get your pencil and your paper as well as your calculator, and let's now get to work. We're going to do some maths. Yes. And so far, Dayton said that they are going to keep the $11.4 billion that has been going from the Housing Trust into the consolidated fund and going to stop that. And that is a cost of $11.4 billion that will now be staying with the Housing Trust. And that's $11.4 billion a year. And you want to make a note of that because we are going to be subtracting from that figure.
And so there are several things that we're going to do. One, we're taking back the money that was leaving the National Housing Trust to go into the budget. It is going to stay with the National Housing Trust. From that, we are going to put a fund in place for $1 billion that will ensure that young persons 35 years and under, can get a grant, not a loan, a grant of $500,000 to go towards paying the deposit so you can purchase a house.
All right. So we have now, out of that 11.4 billion, there will be a grant. Now, grant is not a loan. Grant is free money. So there are persons who are going to get $500,000 free. Now, the figure that he mentioned is $1 billion. So what we're going to need to do now is to find out how many persons would have benefited. When you divide $1 billion by $500,000, what you get is 2,000. So the maximum number of persons who will benefit from this special grant is 2,000 persons. Master Dayton needs to come and tell us if these will be PNP people who will be benefiting, these 35 years and under, because he started out, by telling us that you have comrades who are living in very bad conditions. And because of that, their children and grandchildren not voted, presumably not voting PNP. And something needs to be done about it. Right? So we must ask him, how will these 2,000 persons be selected? By a grab bag, or will they be PNP people? To make sure that their children and grandchildren can say that them get something out of politics. You see, There has to be a reason why he brought up the business of the comrades who are stalwarts in the party, serving them party for years, and look at the condition that they're living in. And something must be done about it. Something has to be done about it. But the PNP don't have the money to do nothing about it. So where is the money going to come from to do something about those comrades? Let's continue to listen to hear what else he says. So we now have, once you take that 1 billion out of the 11.4, we now end up with $10.4 billion. That's what is remaining. Now this 11.4 billion, remember, is in addition to whatever else the housing trust would have been doing from the monies that it has and assets and land and so on and so forth. Yes. So let's continue to listen.
We have heard every year a prime minister go to parliament and say the amount you can get from NHT is going to move from 4 million to 4.5, from 7 million to 9 million. Let us work it through. You have what we call supply and demand. When you have a limited amount of something and everybody want the price, it go up. When you have whole heap of something want to the price, it goes down. When a government only increase the amount that you can borrow, what they have done is to increase the demand for houses, and therefore the prices go up every year out of reach. That's why they're selling a 1-bedroom for 20 million and a 2-bedroom for 40 million. Poor people can't afford that. The next PNP government in our first term in office is going to increase the supply of houses. We are going to build 50,000 starter units under the National Housing Trust. 50,000 starter units under the National Housing Trust so that people can buy a house and then expand it to what you want. And when we do that, we are going to ensure that none of them cost more than $10 million.
So you heard him. We are going to build 50,000 starter units. And then he went on to say, and when we do that, we are going to ensure that none of them costs more than $10 million. Now, I don't know. I think he probably means to say that the selling price would be 10 million because the cost and the selling price are two different things. If it costs 10 million to build, it doesn't follow that the selling price will be 10 million, right? Because then there is profit. The cost plus profit is what gives you the selling price. We're going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that what he intended to say was that the sale price of the units would be no more than $10 million. So let us draw off our paper and with calculators and let us do some calculation and see if we can make head or tail of what it is that Dayton Campbell is telling us that the PNP will be doing in its first term. And we know that the first term is 5 years, right? So it's over the 5-year period. That's what he means. So if you're ready, let us now do our calculation. So they're going to be building 50,000 starter units. So put that in your calculator, 50,000. And then you're going to multiply each of those by 10 million. Tell me what you get. You finish? Yes, you get a whole heap of knots, don't it? Well, when I did the calculation, what I got was 500 billion Jamaican dollars. Was that what you got? Well, if the knots them confusing you, then multiply them out in bits, right? Put in the 10 million and then multiply by 50 first. And the total you get is $500 million. And then you just keep adding a knot, a knot, a knot until you finish with the 50,000. And then you will see it is $500 billion. That even exceeds the tax revenue of this year's budget, which I do believe was $490 billion. This man is standing before the comrades. Him obviously think the comrades are imbeciles. Well, might have a point, because after all, a them go vote to put a man who is obviously not righted in the head to lead the PNP. A man they knew nothing about. Not a thing they knew about him. More than him a wear orange shirt and him a Bunting's friend. Him was in there in Bunting and Golding, and according to him have Tapanaris people for bringing money to the party, and now them saying the party broke. So for him to take them for fools, he may have justifiable reasons for doing so. But he must know that this would have been televised, and he must know that there are people out there who will be doing the calculation. He clearly did not do the calculation, because $500 billion. Now, when you minus the $10.4 billion that is left of the money that is he's going to leave back in the NHD, you're talking about a deficit of $490 billion. Where is that money going to come from, Massa? You know, so you lick your head. Huh? My people, talk to me. This man is coming to tell us that enough for them next term, which clearly is not going to happen. Maybe that is why I come up with this fantastic foolishness. Them going to spend $500 billion. That is, when you divide that by 5 years, that's $100 billion a year to build houses. That's 10,000 houses a year. And him stand up at a political platform and is telling people that garbage. Where the money going to come from? I mean, how much money is the NHD collecting? Right? That he is going to come and tell us that them going to be spending $100 billion a year a bill house? Huh? Now, if this is not desperation, I don't know what is. But you know something, my friends? Check the expression of the policeman behind him. When you talk about priceless, that is that policeman's expression. Then when they finally show the audience of comrades, look at their expressions and see if even them believe what it is that this madman is telling them. Clearly, this man has lost his mind. The pressure is on him. Him gonna take seat where him can't manage, and him a general secretary try to see if he can win other seats for other people, and them have no money and no money coming in, and he's under pressure and is clearly showing signs of mental deterioration. I think that this is what we're looking at. They're cracking under the weight of the pressure that they're under. Damien was there talking nonsense too in his budget debate. We did a video on that. You can watch it. Right? They are cracking under the weight. And them calling for this election, them just want to get it over and done with. Them know they're not winning nothing. And they know Mark Golding will never be Prime Minister of this country. So that is why they can afford to stand up and talk these fantastic things that don't make no sense. And they know that we're going to do the calculation. And they don't care. And they know that we're going to tell the comrades that what he's saying is foolishness. And him don't care. Is it that them think that the comrades going to believe them? Is that what they believe? That once them say it, the comrades going to believe? and say them going to be out there telling people how PMP going to build 50,000 houses and them can buy it at 10 million. I mean, can poor people even afford to buy a house for $10 million? This man is in serious trouble. His mind has cracked under the weight of the pressure that he's under. I am no doctor, not qualified, but maybe Sapphire Longmore maybe ask for her opinion of what could possibly be going on in the mind of Dayton Campbell. He put this out and he doesn't care whether they believe him, yes or no. Because when the comrades start to hear the amount of money and people ask them where that money will come from, them just go and say, right? And they're going to wonder what the hell is going on with them party. Never in the history of modern day Jamaica have we ever heard these fantastic pronouncements coming out of a political party. Either one. At least I had the decency to put forward something that sounds credible. Them don't care. They don't care. And what does that say about them? They don't even have respect for people to come with something that makes sense. They are desperate. And what could be causing this desperation? The money. The money is not coming into the party's coffers. And so, for them, this wild and idiotic pronouncement made by the General Secretary of the People's National Party was designed to what? To make somebody feel that somehow them have a plan to build 50,000 units at 10 million, $500 billion. Not even the tax revenue for the country is that much. And if we're going to argue that maybe what they intend to is to use all the taxes that they collect to build these houses, then where them all get money from to pay police, nurses, teachers, and for the operations of government and the other civil servants? Where they going to get money to do that? Taxes and going to raise again? Of course not. It's impossible to even raise that much taxes. This man is cracking. He's cracking. And that is why he's talking all these crazy things.
So you will be able to go out and buy your house for 10 million or less. And the cost of the land, we are going to discount the cost of the land. On average, the land cost is $2.5 to $3 million. We are going to take that out and you will get that free of charge.
First, he said he was going to discount the land, and then he says he's going to give it away free. Discount and giving away something free are two different things. Discount means you're going to lower the price of something. Giving away free simply means giving away free. Well, since that's the last thing he said, let us use what he said. He's going to be giving away the land free. And he gave us some figures. He says the average cost for these land that will be sold to you as part of the cost of the unit. On average, he says the price is between $2.5 million to $3 million. So let us do a little calculation now. Since there are 50,000 units and all of them is going to be on land, and we take the lower figure and multiply 50,000 by 2.5 million, what we get is $125 billion. That's another $125 billion that the Housing Trust is going to have to hog up. Since it's not getting it from the customers and the mortgagers, then clearly they must be getting it from somewhere else. So that's $125 billion. And when you use now the top end price of $3 million per lot, you're talking about now $150 billion. So what he's proposing to give away is going to cost the housing trust between $125 billion and $150 billion. That is what the housing trust is going to have to hug up in addition to the $500 billion that they are going to be have to find in order to build these 50,000 units within a 5-year period. Now, does that sound like something that makes sense? I cannot even describe it as a pie in the sky. This is more like out of this world. This man is losing his mind. He's losing his mind. And if it isn't clear to everybody, well, it's not going to be clear to him, but it ought to be clear to everybody that this man is clearly having a mental breakdown. I mean, this don't even make sense. He's a medical doctor, and he could not qualify to be at the university without having passed maths. He ought to know what the budget is about. This is not the United States government or any one of those Arab countries with oil money. This man is losing his mind.
So immediately as you buy the house, you own some equity in the property.
As you listen to him, just watch the policeman's expression. That policeman that is to his left, right of our screen. Just watch his expression. It's priceless. And what is more, it sums it all up.
So immediately as you buy the house, you own some equity in the property. Immediately. For the persons who don't have no pay stub, like the farmers, you go bush, you grow your ground, you raise your animal, and you have your money a month time. But you don't have no pay stub, so you can't go NHT and provide 3 pay slip to get the loan. We are going to allow you to go in that house and start pay rent. So you see the NHT house and you want it, you can get it, apply and get it and move in and start paying your rent. Once you prove to us that you can pay the rent consistently, we will move it from rent to mortgage and you become the owner of that house in our rent to home policy.
And you are telling the farmers that. Did you tell them that they will have to be NHT contributors? You propose to break the law? No. So you need to inform them properly. They need to be NHT contributors in order to benefit from this benefit. And how long will they have to pay if they're paying for the first time? Because they have no pay slips. So how long would they have to pay? A year? 2 years? How much money? You need to tell them these things.
For the next administration. So we are going to ensure that people can live in dignity. Every constituency is being asked to look for the appropriate piece of land so you can get one of those housing development under the next PNP administration. And it is the same call that is being made to the people of South Manchester. Go on out there, your leaders, and find a suitable piece of land so we can build the housing scheme under the next PNP administration. So comrades, I'm going to stop it right there, sir. Now I'm going to further. But I want to say this to you. The Labour Party, in their strategy, what they are going to do is to come on a weekly basis and tell one bag of lie. When they're done with that, they're going to attack the leader of the party. They are going to come and start up one whole heap of idiot argument. Well, we tell them this. Whether in white, black, blue, purple, or yellow, a him we are vote for, and a him are going to become the next Prime Minister of Jamaica. Whether they call him Marky G or they call him Marky British, a him we are going to mark the X beside the head when the elections are called. Because we don't care about what a leader is wearing. We care about what him have in him head and what him have in him heart, because we want a leader that is looking out for the interests of the people of this country, who is here to serve and not to scrape. Somebody that is here with love, honor, integrity, and decency. Somebody who don't mix up the guard in a parliament about who. Have a good night.
Yeah, man, him head really did take him there, so him put on the mic. Have a good night. Have a good night, sir. Well, write and tell me in the comment section what you all think about what it is that Leighton said. Do you think that what he's saying make any sense? If it does, tell us why you say it makes sense. If it doesn't, please tell us why you say it don't make no sense. Do you think he's under strain and is showing signs of a mental breakdown, or him just desperate? What do you think? Anyway, folks, thank you so much for joining me today, for sharing, liking, subscribing, and leaving your comments in the comments sections. Until next time, take very good care of yourselves and walk good.